In the latest episode of the Defense Scope, we'll talk about the Indian defense saga. That is, payment issues and war-hit supplies from Russia and Ukraine. Well, the fact is that the worst fears have actually come true. The Russia-Ukraine war has impacted military supplies to India from both the countries, with the Indian Air Force being the worst hit. Let's look at the numbers. Give or take, nearly 60% of the equipment, that is the Indian military equipment, is Russian, many of which are actually legacy equipment. Among the three services, IAF is the most dependent on both Russia and Ukraine. From the Mi-17 helicopters to the IL-76 and the AN-32s, from the MiG-21s to the 29s to the Su-30s, from the Pechora air defense systems to the latest S-400 Triumphs, IAF relies on both Russia and Ukraine to keep it fighting fit, if I can say that. The army, of course, has its own dependence, including the fact that 90% of its tanks are of Russian origin. And not to forget the Navy, which is also dependent on both Russia and Ukraine when it comes to underwater capabilities, both nuclear and conventional submarines, to destroy frigates and carriers. According to SIPRI, Russia continues to be India's largest arms supplier, even though the share of Indian defense imports fell from 62% to 45% between 2017 to 2022. France came second with 29% of Indian arms imports, displacing the US at 11%. Russian state agencies had earlier this year reported that Russia supplied India with around 13 billion of arms in the past 5 years, and New Delhi has placed orders with Moscow for weapons and military equipment exceeding $10 billion. However, the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine has started pinching. When the war started, everyone in India was confident of it not affecting the operational requirements, because no one had imagined that this war would last so long. But now things are getting a bit difficult. Sources in the defense and security establishment said that there has been no impact on the operational preparedness of the forces, and the efforts are underway to reduce dependence on these two countries, that is Russia and Ukraine. Such has been the impact of the war that the Russians have given it in writing that they won't be able to supply the remaining 2 regiments of the S-400 air defense systems to the IAF within the stipulated time. Sources explained the delay in supplies to a combination of multiple things, that is ongoing war, which has affected the Russian production capacity and the need to focus internally rather than exports. Besides, of course, the payment roadblocks. Incidentally, India and Russia are at advanced stage of talks to start using the Russian financial messaging system, that is the Service Bureau of the Financial Messaging System of the Bank of Russia. As reported earlier, the SPFS became a necessity as the US along with the European Union cut off 7 Russian banks from SWIFT, the Belgian-based cross-border payment system operator, including the one that was being used for payments earlier by India. Another key element that has been worked upon is an agreement on mutually recognizing Indian RuPay cards and unified payments interface, that is the UPI, in Russia, and the Russian MIR cards and its fast payment system in India. Sources said that things will ease up once the new payment mode is finalized. Sources admitted that the biggest impact has been on the IAF, which depends on a lot of Russian and Ukrainian supplies for spare parts to keep its fleet, which includes the frontline fighter aircraft as the Su-30 MKI, besides certain missiles flying. They said that the impact would start showing a few months from now if the Russia-Ukraine war continues. In its submission to the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Defense in March, the IAF had blamed the Russia-Ukraine war for its sharp decline in budgetary projections. And I quote, "Our projection last year was rupees 85,000 crore and we finally got an allocation of rupees 57,000 crore, which we have consumed. This year, the projection itself has been less because of this Russia-Ukraine war, as some of our deliveries are not taking place." So we have already been told that those deliveries will not take place, the report by the committee had noted. It added a submission from an IAF officer that read, and I quote, "As far as reduced projection is concerned, some part of it covers spares, but there's a major project where the deliveries have been stopped because of the war going on. That is why the major part of the projection has been reduced." Sources said this was the S-400 air defense system, but noted that the issue related more to the Russian production capabilities than the payments itself. They added that while defense equipment has been hit, oil and other trade continues to take place for which payments are made. Payments are a challenge. Sources said that a large number of payments are pending from the Indian side because of the series of sanctions against Russia. As reported by ThePrint last year in August, while New Delhi and Moscow had worked out a simpler system for payments, secondary sanctions imposed on Russia have led to fresh challenges. Sources said that payments nearing $2 billion are pending and Russia has refused to extend the credit for non-critical items. Both countries are in talks to find a payment system that can be used. The heavy trade imbalance between the two countries is also a roadblock to finding easy solutions. However, sources maintain that the forces have not been hit operationally. And I quote, "There is stuff in the stockpile which can cater to any immediate need. Also, efforts are on to source some of the spares from the third country if need be. They will cannibalize from others." The Navy and the Army have also been hit, but the impact on them is lesser, it is learned. The Russians are focused on their own internal supplies while ensuring that their export commitments are also there too, at least the most needed ones, to friendly countries. Explaining the other reasons for the halt in supply, sources said that Russia is trying to up its production capacity to cater to its own needs, but the availability of workers is another factor. Another issue is with the transportation, as shipping companies fearing American sanctions are wary of doing business with Russia. At ThePrint, we believe in non-hyphenated journalism, high quality, fair, and questioning journalism. Our exceptional ground reporting is something we are very proud of and encourage reporters to travel across the country to tell stories no one does. All this, of course, comes at a huge cost. To encourage us and to support our work, I request you to please opt in for a paid subscription. You'll be able to see the process on our screen and can follow the link in the description of this video to do so. We're also launching a host of exclusive benefits for you, like priority passes to our subscriber exclusive interactions, opportunity to get your article published on your turn section, some specially curated newsletters, and so on. So please support our work and click on the link in the description below to subscribe.